Right. As the title suggests, and the picture you're seeing, this is my revamped bedroom. This is thanks to my mom, so thank you to her. She completely redid this dresser. This was my sister's old dresser. And since I was running out of room in my old one, she gave me my sister's old dresser. It's completely full of my clothes now. It's a lot more clean. That's hung up now. That's hung up now. That calendar is hung up now. Overall, it's really nice. I was not expecting this at all. That's brand new, by the way. The bed linens, that's all new. So yeah, as you can tell, my computer is now facing towards the walls. So that means now hopefully we don't have to deal with the glare of the daylight. But the good thing about that is now I now have I can completely open this window, blinds and all, to show this. It is a lovely view of the suburbs. But now, seriously, now I think if I turn this off, that off, oh, not freaking thrown off, Jesus. Let's see how this looks. Hopefully now there shouldn't be a glare, except for the one caused by the computer itself. I'll just have to keep my voice down, though, because the wall that my desk is sitting in front of, this is actually my parents' closet, so anything I say, any sound I make, it can basically be heard through this wall. So, yeah, for the person who asked me, what were you doing? Yeah, for the person who y'all remember that stream where I just basically lost it? Yeah, they could hear all of that, I'm sure. If they were in the room next door, they could hear this through the closet. Thank you. That's actually one my mom's mother's husband gave me. He's into train calendars as well. I actually started getting his older calendars as like gifts since 2011. So I've gotten a train calendar for pretty much the past 10 years. 9 to 10 years. 2011 to 2020. And I didn't even know that railroad existed. The Tacoma Traction Company, or Tacoma Rail. Tacoma Rail. Jesus, listen to me talk. Alright, but yeah. I'm going to have this on to light the room up. But yeah, if you guys were wondering why I was inactive, it was because I was out on Lake Russell trying to photograph some old road bridges that were kept in place. There's at least 2 that still exist on Lake Russell, because that lake was actually made in 1982. So a lot of the bridges had to be either torn down or bypassed completely. One of them was a design. Trying to get my stream thing set. There we go. It's about as good as it's gonna get. Actually, hold on. Yes. Yeah, one of the bridges that I photographed is one that was one that would have crossed, I guess, a tributary of the Savannah and Sonoya rivers. I forget the names, but can't speak. Oh, I just forgot I'm in the dark. All right then. So I'm glad this light is in use. The bridge. Ugh, some kind of hair there. Ugh. The bridge was one that had, a flat deck on the approach and exit points, but the main span, that part that crossed the river, crossed the bridge to that gap with 3 overhead truss arch spans. Now, as of late, only one half of the bridge still exists. The flat deck approach and two of the three trusses. The rest was demolished. Probably because it was assumed it would be a navigation hazard. For some reason, I don't know. The other bridge is a single truss bridge in the shape of a trapezoid, like this. Like this design on each end. I don't know how old the bridges are, but I know they were still in use into the late 70s, probably early 80s. Shortly before they built their lake. So, yeah. Maxulian and Hinchcliffe, Mr. Minecraft, Oz's Oz, Eric Loins, Via Rail, Train Boy, Train Fan 119, Kevin. Glad to see quite a few new faces, old and new. Jesus Christ, what have you done? What have you done? Actually, I could probably move my desk if needed. Or just, I don't know, do something. What is this? I don't care. Skip for now. Thank you. Now, there is some stuff I'm going to have to do real quick, though. Northern Colorado Revamped Productions. I hope you get to feeling better, man. Drink ginger ale. Drink ginger ale slowly. Not like bleh, like I do. Drink it in slow, small sips. It'll help settle your stomach. Don't ask me how. It just does. Also, scrambled eggs works. For some reason, ginger ale and scrambled eggs are two known home remedies that actually help with stomach bugs and whatnot. What have you done? Just gonna completely quit Skype. There we go. Yeah, I've got stuff I'm trying to do at the moment. Hey, Olivera. Northern Colorado Rail fan. Could you elaborate on that more? Because I'm from Georgia. I'm literally all the way over on the East Coast. We don't have that here, mate. We don't have that here. Is it like some kind of juice drink or something? Let me know if the light is any better. Because I have it pretty much shining in my face. It's got a replica Edison bulb in the lamp. The lamp is old, but the Edison bulb is a replica of a light bulb that would have been older. Oh! Well, it's kind of like that vitamin water. It's like vitamin water, basically. Only it actually has legitimate fruit in it, so I guess that's good if you don't mind the pulp. I've never liked it. I've never liked, drinks that have pulp in it, because it doesn't, texture-wise, it doesn't sit well with me. That's why I didn't eat a lot of stuff for a while. It's because it's not that I didn't like it, it's because the texture, it just didn't feel right. It's like, ugh. It's like broccoli. Like, I can eat a lot of the greens cooked or steamed, but I can't eat them raw. It just is that different. It just feels that different and tastes that different. If you could say raw stuff even has a taste. Alright, I need to go to Gmail because there's something I need to do. Or at least do real quick after the stream is over. I just need to get everything set up. Hello. What do we have here? What is this? What the hell? Okay. I just got essentially some anti-America propaganda. I'm gonna just delete that because I don't support it. Nothing personal to the author. I don't want my rights taken away. I'm sure most people here in the stream will agree. And Fives, I'm also talking to you. I do not do communists. I hate communism. Right then, where is the draft? 4.27 millimeter full metal jacket. I've got your name. You will learn the numbers. I will teach you. You little... I got your name. I got your... I forget it. I can't speak. Oh, yes. What have you done? By the way, the Linden House recently moved the entire... Well, most of the exhibition online. And I tried finding the photograph, Heart Rail, and I never could find it. Also, I asked my stepdad, if we could go back up to Hartwell. I'm not talking about in the near future because I think the city's like under a lockdown or something for some reason. But if we are able to get back out on the lake, I'm going to see if I can do a revise on the photograph. I'm gonna see if I can do a revision of Heart Rail, the photograph with that title. Because as y'all can tell, I took that photograph in winter, so it looks gray, dreary. Because it was in the middle of winter. It was cold. It was wet. It was rainy. It was cloudy, foggy. It was just a dreary looking photo. But I want to go back and do another photo with the exact same angle, but with a whole different season, which is, of course, in the summer. The literal, pun intended, polar opposite of winter. I've wanted to do that ever since the photo gained in popularity. So it's from a creative standpoint, I want to try and do another photograph for that because of that piece. Since it was a piece that I did during the winter, why not, it's like, why shouldn't I go back and do it in the summer or the fall? To me, it feels like it would look pretty in the summer, but I know it would be beautiful in the fall, especially if I could come out there with a good camera. Preferably the Rebel. I want to test the Rebel out with this photograph. I just have to get the exact same angle. What I'd have to do is I'd probably have to pull the picture up on my phone or get a physical copy and literally mimic the exact same angle, the exact same, everything really. Hey, 4014, how you doing? What kind of railroad? Class 1, regional, Class 2 short line, Class 3 short line, tourist, heritage? What could you be more specific? Class 1, that's a pretty good question because I really don't know. I'll just say if CSX would run their heritage units or let 2716 on to the Abbeville sub, then I'd say that would be my favorite. But yeah, haven't seen any of that yet around here. Either that or I ended up missing it. It's like lucky me. Anyway, no. All right, Northern Colorado Rail fan, you take care. I hope you feel better. And listen, don't force yourself to get up just because I'm live, okay? I'd rather you get rest and feel better so when you are able to join the stream again, you're not having to deal with being sick, okay? You go on and get the rest you need, all right? And I hope you and your family and your friends stay safe through all this madness. Because I'm going to just be blunt. Everyone is talking on television is talking about, oh, everything will go back to normal. even if we do fight off the virus, I don't think we'll be going back to the normal we're all associated with. This is one of those events where it's the saying "never the same again" really comes into effect. Because I take a look around from here on out, because things are going to change. It may not be as noticeable or as quick, but things will start to change. Sometimes change comes in an event, in the wake of an event like, say, a pandemic. It just takes people with very keen eyes to see it. A lot of people before me have been through stuff like this, and they've seen how much stuff has changed over the years. Carson Abels, what's up, man? I didn't see you the last time. I missed you the last time you were here. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the channel. Craig Morris, oh, me too, man. Surprisingly, I think a few bands I like are still coming to some of these cities, but they've just pushed them back to a few months. Like, instead of, say, during the summer, they're going to come in, say, August or something. I hope so, Oz, about the hygiene, but I honestly hope that, I mean, because if you guys have noticed, I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard stories similar to these, where it just shows, on one side, people who are actually caring about other people, and then you've got the opposite side of the spectrum where you just... But the one thing I hope to see more of out in the wake of an event like this is all of the good people basically stepping out of the shadows more, because every time something like this happens, you always see an influx of good people willing to help out others and willing to help out in any way they can, however they can. And then, of course, you have the exact opposite of the spectrum show up, and it just shows the absolute horridness and scum of humanity. But other than that, yeah, but I hope to see more of, this side of the spectrum, not this side. You know what? I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about, anything like that. I'm just saying with people in general. I personally hope to see more of that. Because it's very rare to see people like the ones we've been seeing during this pandemic nowadays under normal circumstances. It's rare for you to see people being, willing to help out others in pretty much any way, shape, and form they can. Most of the time you see this side of the spectrum most of the time. Or, you just see people who do have that spark of good in them, but they just don't bother, trying to show the full good in them. You know it? And it's just, it's unfortunate to me. Because it's people like that that actually, make everything better. I mean, it may not make everything, worldwide better, but for their area, it improves the situation tremendously. I mean, it's people like that who, are willing to volunteer or to help out or to do whatever they can to help improve or just help people out in general that, make, places of refuge and like towns and cities and whatnot a much better place to live, And I know from what everybody who's come before me has said, there were a lot more people like that early on in the, I guess you could say olden days. And it's a shame that now that's pretty much become a sort of dying, I guess you could say dying breed, really. It's kind of like a lot of the historic architecture I'm interested in. It's essentially rapidly becoming a dying breed or something that's disappearing at a very rapid pace. And it's just, I honestly think it's down to, previous generations' wisdom not being, because, yes, someone can be good by going about with their own morals, but, if stop and listen to what the previous generations have to say regarding, experience, morals, wisdom, values. That's what also helps make a good person. And admittedly, I may screw up a lot now and again, but I still try and listen as best as I can. And I mean, I'm good at heart. I may not look it. And sure, I may act crazy and weird as hell on these live streams, but I try my best not to be weird as hell in public, away from the computer. But, like, yeah. I just hate that a lot of people in my generation now just aren't listening to what I mentioned. The morals, the wisdom, the experience, the values, all of that. It's like the last 20 years have seen, the most recent generations just take all that and essentially throw it to the curbside. I mean, the fact is simply this. If we as a generation, us, those who came shortly before us, and everyone who's come after us, if we don't look back at that prior knowledge, that prior experience, the prior morals, the wisdom, and all that, I mean, we as a generation will fail, and fail very miserably, very quickly. Because it takes that kind of stuff, those core values, to make good people. And to me, it feels like there's not enough good people these days. Yes, there are some, but it seems like now most of the time all you see and hear about are people who just do horrid things. You don't even get to hear about the people who actually try and do good in the world. You only hear more about the people who do bad in the world and make it miserable. I mean, it's so unfortunate. And I wish more attention was given to those who actually try and make, the world as a whole better instead of worse. Because it'd probably make us as a species a lot less miserable and a lot more optimistic. Not just about ourselves, but about our future. But, look, I'm just 19. I seriously doubt anyone would take what I'm saying seriously. Now then, moving on from the, I guess you could say, I don't know, what's the word here, people? You know me, I forget. What's the word for what I was just doing? I forget. Moving on from the life values, let's get to the main subject. Gaming, anyone? I'm going to probably end this stream and do another one strictly for gaming. Unless, I don't know. Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm just going to be blunt. For me, I'm 19, yes, but for me, sometimes it's like there's days where I'm really smart, but there's more days where I'm just, well, really stupid. I'm being blunt here, people, so I'm just being blunt here. Bluntness alert. Hashtag bluntness alert incoming. I mean, yeah. I may be smart sometimes, but most of the time, yeah. The thing is, I have a short attention span, so people who know me best, as in my family, my friends, close friends and family, they pretty much either have to repeat or basically scream at me as to what I need to do when it comes to, what I need to do, how I need to do it. And it's just, they say that's the problem with you. You don't know how to listen. And yes, I get that. I know I don't listen. I know I screw up occasionally, but that's just because it's not because I'm not listening, it's because I'm human. We're human. We make mistakes constantly, okay? You can't expect somebody, even with years of experience, to do what you ask them to do right every single time, all the time. Eventually, there's going to be a day or two where they screw up on more than one occasion. All they can do is just pick up where they left off and try and fix their mistake in whatever way they can. And it's, oh, I just, yes. Oh, I don't think I've shown y'all this. Let me turn the camera around. Oh, 13 people. Can we get it to 14 so I'm not having to deal with bad luck, superstition, voodoo stuff? This here is a Doctor Who coffee mug I got. I think it was for like a Christmas gift. Now since I don't drink coffee, I obviously don't have a use for it as far as drinks are concerned. But, like every kind of like 80s era film or any film which takes place with an office, you'd always see like, I guess a cup or something on, like, say, an office worker's desk full to the brim with either contact cards, pencils, pens, whatever they need at their desk. That's literally what I've done here. I've literally done that here. And I like it. Oh, man, it's fine. Hey, for a while before YouTube, I was just as shy. Like, I've had some shyness, but I think it's not because I don't like to talk. It's mainly over certain subjects, like sensitive stuff sometimes, yes. Pretty sure everyone who's been through high school knows what I'm talking about that. Anyway, but yeah, it's just that kind of shyness with me. Like, yeah. Sometimes if I'm real, ticked off or pissed off, sometimes I'll just be very blunt. But, yeah. Well, I don't use my coffee mug to store money in, no, but... Oi! What you two doing down there? Crazy dogs, I swear. I don't know what they'll do. I don't know what... Really? I really need to get one of those tripod phone mounts again, because this is getting ridiculous now. Really. And since our pool is back up, I need to try and find a way to rebuild that boat before I forget how to build it entirely. Oh, you like to read, eh? Let me show you something here. Carson, I believe this will interest you. This here... Carson, this here is my, I guess you could say, collection of books. There's films and music there, but that's copyrighted. But yeah, I've got books galore. Actually, here's my yearbooks from 2006 to about 2016. Wait. I had some pages I saved from a wildlife book. Oh my God, if she... Oh, thank God, never mind, she didn't. She didn't throw those out. I'm so glad she saved those, because I've held on to them for years. That was from out of a wildlife book I had years ago, but I've since gotten rid of. But yeah, if you take note, a lot of my stuff concerns either trains or anything I was interested in. In fact, these train books here, these were all at my dad's. And I'm amazed that they're even still in one piece, because the box I had them all stored in ended up getting inundated with water. Like, the basement at his house flooded. So, a lot of them had damage. Like, water damage. Like, here's a good example. Look at this. That's all what's left of the water damage some of these books sustained. How they held up and survived is a mystery to me, but I'm so happy that they're still really readable. It was only the bottoms that were damaged, and really they were easy to fix. You just had to individually peel each page back. So, I mean, the pictures and all are still there, thank God, but still, that was a scare for me. But I've got books on, trains. This is actually one on Titanic for those who are interested. That one there is a book a friend of mine at my school actually gave me, believe it or not. A friend of mine in high school gave me this book regarding the Bismarck, which is funny because I remember reading the same book years before at, I think, a different school, or not a different school, but I think either a school or a library I was at. I don't know. Yeah, down here is more books. And the seashell, I forget where that was from. This little resin bald eagle here, that came from Cass. I got that from my last trip to Cass. And my mom, she made this. And of course, you know the rest. What's funny though is actually, this is not all of the, this is not all of the books I had before. I actually had, at one point, 2 bookshelves full of books. But towards the end of my time in high school, I actually gave the school a lot of the books I had. I gave them, I think, close to 50 books that I had in this bedroom. What I didn't give, I basically donated. I didn't want any of the books I had thrown away. I wanted to donate whatever I didn't want to keep, literature-wise. So that meant a lot of the National Geographic books were donated. I think, and really the only ones I have still are these. In fact, these are going to be probably the last 2 books I donate. I'll give you a hint. They both concern Titanic, and they're both going to a certain friend of ours that I'm sure you know the name of rather well. But that's all I'm going to say for that. Now then. Oh, hold on. I lied. No, the yearbooks I have go from 2006 to 2017. So, I've got 1 book from my elementary years. I've got 2 I've actually got 1 from my elementary school years, 3 from my middle school years, which was from 2014 to 15. Excuse me, 16, sorry. Actually, I think I had another one that was like a little paper binder that they gave out in case, we didn't bother getting a yearbook. I don't remember. But, yeah, and then there's the first one I've got for high school is 2017, and it's a huge one. And really, a lot of seniors and whatnot, just go all out with the very back pages and put pictures of themselves and everything about them and whatnot. I never did that. In all my years of school, I never did it until this year. Because, this is the last year I'm in school, in general. So I figured, why not do something, that would last, that I could look back on. So my mom, her mother, my sister, and I think my sister, no, it was just my mom, her mother, and myself. We went out and took yearbook, photos for the yearbook, which if you guys look at my photograph slideshows, you'll see those photos. They were in, I think, series 4? It was either series 3 or series 4. I know it was before series 5, which I still haven't uploaded to the channel because it's ongoing. It's probably got close to 400 photos in it by now. I haven't bothered to look. I wouldn't mind meeting you. The problem is I don't know if I'd be able to fly all the way to Colorado and back. I'm terrible. I can't plan trips. I've never planned a trip before, so yeah, the chances of that are slim. No, I'm not looking. A classical song? What do you mean classical? Like piano or like early music from like 50, and from what era? 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s? What could you define classic a bit more specifically? Well, early stuff, pretty much from Louis Armstrong into like the pretty much the early 90s with the grunge and adult alternative scene. That's where my music interest goes to. And really, you could say it goes from Louis Armstrong, which some of his stuff does go back to the 20s, to pretty much the present with adult alternative and contemporary jazz, mainly smooth jazz and piano, as well as blues. Those are the few genres that present that I like. No R&B and rap here. No rap or hip hop here, boys. I hate it. Even my dad got into that stuff. Can you believe it? I thought there's something I thought I'd never see. Him listening to freaking hip hop and rap in a car where he basically freaking rigged the speakers to nearly make the windows nearly blow out. Like, my God, bruh, it's loud enough. Do you have to make it any more obnoxious? Like, come on. My God, man. I mean, I know I haven't said everything I've said about him wasn't good, but it's because, family-wise, the situation between myself, him, and everybody else, it's been complicated, okay? It's been really complicated because, life-wise, his situation has just not been good. I'm not going to go into detail, but basically, one member did something really stupid. One family member, not going to give any names, did something stupid. I thought, he did it. I got ticked off thinking he did it. And basically cut ties with him for a while. I only started speaking to him again recently when my photography started taking off. And that was pretty much over the past year or two, since last year to now, and it hasn't really been much in the way of talking, just simple, hey, how you doing, so-and-so. But, I mean, I found out that the other family members finally got their comeuppance, essentially. In other words, they're getting punished for all the insanity they've done. And this is for stuff that didn't occur when that member was a part of the family. They've since, separated from it. But they're finally getting punished. Sorry, something stuck in my throat. Yeah. Let's just say that's when everything finally clicked. My dad was essentially framed for the thing that ticked me off. I mean, I've mentioned it before, but basically what happened was early on when I was still able to go, when I still went down to his place, which was my grandmother's old house, I took all of my train-related stuff, my train books, Lionel train stuff, artifacts, calendars, anything I had concerning railroads. I took it down there to his place, and it was mainly putting it there to really, really I was taking it down there to store it because I just simply had no room for it in this bedroom. And for a while I thought, okay, everything is there, everything will be safe. Wrong-o. Apparently after said incident took place to where I basically got ticked off to the point where I wanted to cut ties, I went to get my stuff, and that's when I found a lot of it missing. The locomotive from the Lionel train set was gone. Like, everything else was still there. The cars, the track, the tender, the transformer, all that was still there. All of the other trains I had, which was H.O. Scale stuff, still there. Most of my books, still there. Calendars, still there. Signs, still there. A lot of the artifacts, which was stuff I found trackside or was given as gifts or gotten at gift shops, missing. I found out later, which was recently, that the family member who's since branched off apparently got in trouble with the law for, I guess, drugs or something. That's when everything clicked. It explained why most of my stuff went missing, aka the railroad artifacts and the locomotive. They were probably stolen and sold essentially to get money for drugs. That's my guess. I'm not saying it's accurate. I'm not saying that's what actually happened to it all. I'm just saying that's my guess as to why it all disappeared. It was probably taken and pawned off for quick money for whatever drugs the person wanted to get. I'm referring to my stepmother, my dad's ex-wife. Yes, they were married. They went their separate ways. But yeah, I'm not giving any names. But yeah, currently my dad's trying to get his life put back together and straightened out, and I really wish him well, and I hope to God he doesn't. I hope he's able to get his life straightened out, because I'm not just worrying about him, I'm worrying about my younger siblings who are living with him, my younger sisters. I'm not giving any names, but I worry about them. There's not a day that goes by where I don't think about them. Because for a while, when my stepmother was there, it wasn't exactly pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. I know because I was there. Her and my dad got into arguments. One of them was bad enough to where it scared one of my sisters, and she came down to the basement crying. Like, she came down to me crying because she was scared. She didn't know what was going on. And that ticked me off. Like, I thought that everything was fine, but clearly, no, it wasn't. And of course, subsequently, from then on, the arguing continued. It got worse, and I wasn't there, but apparently something else happened. I don't know what. But, yeah. I know, I mean, neither one of them are exactly saints, though. Okay? My stepmother, stepmom, and my dad, they're not exactly saints. And I mean, even he's gotten in trouble for similar, incidences. But they weren't as well bad. They weren't horrible, but they weren't exactly as bad. But in either case, he's still got in trouble, and he's trying to get his act straightened out and cleaned up. But I'm worried he'll essentially relapse into his old ways, because it's like a vicious cycle. He gets in trouble almost majorly, then he tries to turn his life around, but then it basically spirals downward all over again, and he gets right back into the same position he was in before, struggling to make ends meet and struggling to get his life back on the straight and narrow. And I'm worried that it'll just be the same thing all over again. And really, that is the main reason I haven't really spoken to him much. It's because, I mean, because it's a case of essentially the phrase, believe it when you see it. I mean, I can't truly believe that he will have gotten his life fully straightened out unless I see it. So, until that kind of point comes, I don't know if I'll be able to speaking to him much. I'm not mad at him, not anymore. I've made peace with all of this, because the main thing I wanted to get replaced, which was the Lionel train set, was replaced, and it was actually one of two that I have. And I say have because for a reason. The one that had the engine taken was actually a Lionel train set of the Polar Express, and it was a set that I got back in 2007. It was a Christmas gift from my parents, my mom and my stepdad. And when I told them the engine part for that thing was missing, they got real ticked. More than me. But at the end of it all, that train set was basically fully replaced. And the other one is actually one from the 70s that I actually bought with, money I had saved up. It was a Southern Crescent train set from the 70s. I never ran it much. I think the only time you ever see any equipment from it run was in that Rube Goldberg video, where I had another older Lionel locomotive in use. That's gone. It's been gone for years. Probably was taken with everything else. But, yeah. After everything was said and done and blew over, basically, like I think, the same day after I got all my stuff out from my dad's place, I took it down to my mom's mother's place, and that is currently where it's all stored. It's all being stored in, I get a barn on their property. Mainly, and the reason it's in storage is essentially because I have absolutely nowhere to put all of this stuff. I don't have anywhere to set all the model trains up and run them. And since a lot of it was bought either secondhand or used, the chances of all that stuff running anymore now is slim because, I mean, the barn they're in is not climate controlled. There's no air conditioning to prevent, mold or mildew or decay. So, I mean, yeah, that stuff is going to rot. It doesn't matter if it's got 4 walls and a roof over it. It's still going to decay to some degree. It's all in boxes. It's all indoors, but it'll still end up decaying if there's no way to control the climate inside the building. So, really, that stuff is probably going to remain in storage for indefinitely because I have just nowhere to put and no room to put that stuff in, in anywhere. So, really, it's kind of a loss. So, I don't know what I'll do with any of that stuff. I don't know if later on down the road I'll sell it or donate it. I don't know. I'll probably donate. But if I had to guess later on, I might donate it, probably to a train shop. I'm referring to all the HO scale stuff. The Lionel stuff, I'm holding on. I do intend to hold on to. Like, at least the Polar Express set, because that was a gift. Okay, that was a Christmas gift. I intend to hold on to that. The Crescent, I don't know. I'll have to just see. I don't know what I'll do with that. But it's just, yeah. Anyway, I know I said I'd do gaming, but I'll probably have to do that in a whole nother stream. But for now, I'm going to conclude this one. But before I do, I just want to say, thank you to everyone who just was able to join. I appreciate it very much. And I hope all of y'all's close friends and family and whatnot are doing well and stay safe. And, yeah, I hope all of y'all stay safe. And I just want to say God bless and good luck to all of y'all. And I hope y'all do the same and say the same to everybody else, because we're all going to need it. We all going to need it. But, till the next stream, this is Railroad Preserver 2000, signing out.